it's two sides of the fence. Either you're going to be using credit and just creating debt, like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, partying, kicking it, hanging out, having a good time, buying that purse or that stuff that you didn't need, or you're on the other side where you leverage it.
So for those of you who are looking to get into real estate, the best and safest way to approach any deal is only buy a deal if it works as a rental and if it works as a flip.
Ownership is the name of the game. So own you some because ownership is the name of the game.
What was your first real estate experience?
Sure.
Was it good? Was it bad? And just let's talk about that.
That's a great question. I'm actually talking about my first two deals.
Okay.
That's on mine. My first deal, actually my brother Xavier, he found the deal. It was in Newark, New Jersey. We found a house for $45K, right? And we didn't know anything. We didn't have no systems. We didn't have any training. I didn't know how to value it. I didn't know how to estimate the repairs, but we got lucky. I mean, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to, be smart, right?
Yeah.
And we bought the house for $45K, put $60,000 in renovation, and we sold it for $180K, made $60,000. By luck. We didn't have the money for it. I got a hard money lender.
I was where y'all get the money from
I got a hard money lender, did a cash advance on my credit card. I mean, I went all in on this thing, right? It was like either you're gonna fail or you're gonna
it has to work or it has to work.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, we did it and it was successful. The second deal, man, that was a smack back to reality, bro. We lost everything on the first deal and lost more, right?
Sheesh.
Yeah. And it was crazy that my wife was pregnant at this time with our first baby. All right. And so it was not supposed to go that way.
Yeah.
Right? So, I fell into a little depression and, and I realized that I want to do real estate. I mean, it's making millionaires every single day.
Yeah.
Right?
The most millionaires, I think 80% of millionaires own real estate, something
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly. So I knew it was good. Had a nice taste of what it could be. So I was like, you know what? Let me go find some people that have done this already. Started networking. I'm a big believer that your net worth is your network, right? And started, meeting people in the business. I caught onto this group of people that had been doing it for years. They took me under their wing, and man, the rest is history, man. I told you, over the past 15 years, over 1,300 transactions and over $250 million in real estate purchased. And over an $80 million rental portfolio today. So I got to say, it was a good choice.
It was worth it. It was worth it. So let me ask you this: now that you are who you are now, what went wrong on that second deal, like that caused you to lose money? 'Cause I think the people at home need to know what mistakes to avoid.
Everything.
So
No, but I'll break it down.
Yeah.
All right. So I underestimated the rehab because someone else told me it was a $30,000 renovation, but I didn't know how to verify it. I spent $80K. Right, so I was scrambling.
$50,000.
Yeah, I was scrambling for money, man, on that deal. I was robbing from Peter to pay Paul, using this credit card to make the payment on this credit card. Right, I talked to everybody: my dad, my coworkers from my previous job, my friends, my family. My brother took a title loan on his Infinity, right, to get $14,000 to finish that renovation. Yeah. So we went all in only to lose $75K on that deal, right? So I underestimated the rehab. I overestimated the sales price because I didn't know how to value the house, what it was done. I thought it was gonna sell for $250, it sold for $200, right? So that $50,000 less in the sale price, that $50,000 more on the rehab. It's $100K right there. We're off. Plus, it took me an extra 4 months than I planned because of the extra rehab. It was
interest,
carrying costs. It was just a perfect storm.
Got it. Yeah. So that's crazy. So now for the people at home, right? Because there's different ways to invest in real estate. Yeah. You have fix and flip. You have buy and hold. You have gurus talking about short-term rental and Airbnb arbitrage, never actually owning a property. So if you could pick one for the listeners, what do you think is your favorite way today of leveraging real estate?
Absolutely. So my first response to your question is, I hate Airbnb. Right?
Okay.
Airbnb is the best way to lose money, right? In my opinion. I tried it. It didn't work for me. Yeah. I know people that get into it. Market's oversaturated. You don't own real estate, right? Yeah. So you don't get the benefits.
It was just easy in 2021 when when
everybody's going crazy.
Be smarter,
But you get to experience the cash flow from real estate, but you don't get the benefits of real estate.
No tax deduction, no tax breaks, no appreciation.
No, exactly. You get cash flow when it works, right? But when it doesn't work, you have nothing else to fall on, right? So that's my first response to your question. My second response is I love fix and flipping and rental properties. And we have the flip to freedom method that we've developed where for every 3 properties we buy, we flip 2 and keep 1 as a rental. And that's the way you get to long-term, wealth in real estate. Yeah. You build passive income, all right? Let's just say you make $500 a month on a property. Yeah. Right? How many properties you need to replace your JOB?
Not too many.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you fix and flip for your now money. So you have that money to build your portfolio, to go put down in marketing, to go and do the things you want to do in your life today, because your passive income pays you for the future.
And that's an interesting approach because most people are usually either or on strategies, right? It's like, I'm only going to do rentals, or I'm only going to do flips. And so on the flips, it's great. You get a lot of cash flow, but then like you're not thinking long term at all. On the rental property, you're incrementally building for the long term, but it's like, dang, I need some money today. Exactly. So it's a very unique approach I haven't personally heard that I think is super cool. So can you walk us through, like, I know that that's your strategy, but like, if someone's like, you know what, I like this guy and I would want to do something like this, walk us through, like, from A to Z at a high level at least, what this looks like. How can someone get this done so they can start flipping to freedom?
Absolutely.
It's a crazy name, by the way, Flip to Freedom. I'm surprised you got that.
Yeah. You got a domain, Flip to Freedom?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we locked it in, but if we
I mean,
did, let's make sure we do that today.
Let's do that today.
I'm about to say, he'll tell you this arbitrage play that he about to run real quick.
He'll tell you. We just had a virtual event the other day. Someone in the comments was like, yo, this is lit. It's like a concert. It's like a financial festival. I sent Carter, I was like, yo, got the domain. Boom, next time, financialfestival.com.
He's like, yo, the domain's available at $5K for you.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I thought you said it was $100. That was the old price.
But yeah. Look, every deal that I look at, right? I'm a big believer. I hate only investing with one exit strategy, right? So every deal that we look at needs to have two ways to profit or more.
Okay.
Right? So every deal that we buy is good as a rental. It's also good as a flip. Right.
Okay.
This is the safest way to invest in real estate. Okay. And I learned this a couple years back the hard way, right? When I had a property that we didn't want to sell.
But you had to rent it out.
I had to rent it out, but it was losing money every month, right? Because I didn't analyze it the right way. So for those of you who are looking to get into real estate, the best and safest way to approach any deal is only buy a deal if it works as a rental and if it works as a flip. That way, if you put in the market, you don't get the cash buyer or whatever buyer that you're looking for to buy that property, right? At the price you're wanting, you flip it to a rental, you still cash flow. 2 years down the line, you pop it then, right? So you need properties that work in both ways. So it needs to be able to cash flow, right? As a rental, and needs to be able to make a nice, decent profit, at least a 15% ROI as a flip or better. And that's how I look at every deal that I do.
But let me ask you this, though. Typically, what I hear, I don't have an experience in this. I hear that when you're flipping a property, right, like, you're not going to put the same level of, like, aesthetic or finishes, right, in a flip that you would as a rental. So how are you kind of making that decision of what finishings you're putting in a property, knowing that potentially you might have to leverage an exit strategy that you weren't originally planning to take advantage of?
So when I'm modeling that deal, I want to make sure that it's going to make sense for either. So I'll put the finishes for a retail, but if I don't get the retail, guess what? That tenant just lucked out and got a nice granite countertop, right?
Gotcha.
That tenant lucked out, got some nice faucets, got some nice fixtures in the property that they wouldn't have got otherwise. But I'm modeling it the same way. So when I'm buying a property, I recommend to anybody, the best way to buy a property and be safe on any real estate investment is to make sure you have margin, right? So we want to be all in on our investments at no more than 70% of what that property is worth. So can I put in perspective?
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah.
So let's say you have a $100,000 property, right? Definitely not New York City.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it ain't happening, but go ahead.
$100,000 property, and investments in the markets in the Midwest that we love to invest in, that's very common. You have a house that's worth $100,000. We off the bat, we know that we can't pay more than $70,000 for that house. But most of the houses have rehab in them. So I'm going to deduct what that rehab is going to be, and that's going to be my maximum allowable offer. So if that's 70,000, let's just say I think it's 10,000 in renovation. That's 70,000 minus 10,000. It means the most I can offer to make sure I buy that property right is $60,000 in that house.
So if the property's worth 100, right? How do you get the seller to sell it for 60?
That's the magic sauce, my brother. Right?
I'm just
No. So what we do that 98% of investors don't do is we buy all of our properties direct to owner. Right. So if you go to most new investors, when they want to be a real estate investor, they say, all right, I'm going to go get a realtor, get someone on the MLS, and you're competing against all the other competition out there. Right. We look for situations that make a seller motivated. All right. And then reach out to that seller directly before they even go on the MLS, before the property goes to auction. And we're trying to have an A/B conversation with them and negotiate with them. So we solve their situation, which in turn benefits us and gets us a great price. So it's a win-win for both parties.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell you to give away your secret sauce, but I'm also gonna tell you this is a podcast where we do no sauce
No
separately.
sauce separately.
This is not McDonald's, this is Chick-fil-A. The sauce comes.
Right, the sauce comes
free.
with it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna charge you extra 25 cents for the sauce. Let's do it. Let's do it.
But how do I find or
we asking for a friend because like Carter said he don't like real estate. I'm trying to get more into real estate, so you might not like it.
I just didn't know what I was doing.
Good,
I didn't know what I was doing, so a lot of this is asking for a friend.
It's all good. I'll give you a perfect example. The house I live in, right? I just don't believe in paying retail for something, right? So the house I lived in, my wife was like, "Oh, I want to live in this neighborhood." And
that's a nice house that you live in, by the way. You got the palm trees in the back, the backyard. Now you got a nice house.
Where you based out of again?
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay, cool.
All right, so it's a nice house, man. 5,000 square feet on a lake, double gated community. It's a real nice house.
Yeah.
Now people think that you only get these good deals in the hood. That's cap, man. Right?
Yeah.
There's people in distress everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So this particular house, my wife was like, "I want to live in this neighborhood." I was like, "All right, give me time. I'll find the right house for you." Right? She was looking on the market, 1.5, 1.4, 1.8, 1.2. I was like, I'm not paying retail for a house, baby, right?
So this is what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do, right? Why am I going to do that?
Yeah.
So I started looking at the pre-foreclosure list, people who are behind on their payments. And I started reaching out to these
That's public
owners.
information.
That's public information.
Ooh,
Go to the local county.
You
Go
just
to the
gave
local
me a
county.
gem.
Yeah.
Oh, you some money. What's your cash out?
So I reached out to the seller. He was behind like 8 months on his payment. The bank filed a notice of foreclosure. And I said, "Look, you're about to get kicked out your house in a couple of weeks, right? So why don't you make a deal with me where you can have some money in your pocket? I'll pay off your mortgage. And then you go into your next situation in life with some cash. So you're not broke. What's going to happen is if you wait to the last minute, someone's going to kick you out of your own home.
Yeah. You're going to lose all the equity. You're going to lose everything.
all the equity. You're getting kicked out by the sheriff. It's just not a good feeling, right?
Yeah.
And he was
No
like,
dignity in that situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was like, "Why don't you come by my house? Let's talk about it." I talked to him, and guess what happened? COVID happened, right? They stopped all foreclosures. So he stopped talking to me, right, for a year and a half. Then I get a phone call from him, and he's like, "Yo, you ready to buy the house?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey, I got an auction date in 7 days." I'm like, 7 days, bro? This is $1 million house. You got to give me some time, man.
Yeah. And the auction day means that they were gonna
no delay. It's going to auction that day. 7 days. I put the money together, got a hard money loan, got the cash together, put the money down, bought the house, bought it for $750. All right, on the home. I put $80,000 in renovations to the home. The home turned around and appraised for 1.7.
It's $1 million.
Yeah.
My man.
Hey, yeah, I got to say yeah on that one. My God.
$1 million. So
Hey, I'm about to consult you. This is property I'm trying to buy down.
Right.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, hold on, Trevor. We sit up. You got to sit up a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk to him nice.
But like, bro, $1 million in one play. That's ridiculous.
The dude owed $600,000 on the house, right? He bought the house years ago. I mean, he just couldn't afford it. He was a pilot. He was making good money, right? He got sick, couldn't work, couldn't pay.
Oh, that's how it works. Or you mean to tell me I can go borrow money, I can go get a real estate property, I can get cash flow, right, from the real estate property, and then, oh, wait a second, I get to depreciate the property so I don't got to pay taxes on the money that I made from other people's money? Wait a second. I now can go borrow against the value of my property, take out a loan, and that's tax-free too. I can pay you start like, this is a literal game.
It's unfair.
It's unfair in that people can win. I don't care whether you black, white, green, yellow, brown. Everybody can play this game. Everybody can win this game. Here's my thing though. As a people, we can't win the game if we don't know the rules.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we would never go step on a basketball court without knowing the rules. We would never go try to play baseball without knowing the rules. But we approach the game of money. We approach the game of credit. We approach the game of investing. We approach the game of taxes every single day without learning the rules of the game. And then we get the nerve to be mad when we losing.
Right.
Of course you're gonna be losing because you don't know if you're winning or losing because you don't know the rules.
Yep.
Right. So I think that that's why for me, and I think that was why we came together, is just to have a wake up call to our people. Like, yo, we're halfway through the year right now.
Right.
We are not gonna let the rest of this year go by without making some changes on how we can not just free ourselves, but free our family and free up our money and our freedom by like understanding how money works. Once you solve the money problem, the rest of the problems in life ain't that big of problems anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. At least your head can be above water to be able to make decisions on.
Yeah.
Let me get them a secret that's not a secret.
Okay.
To bridge the wealth gap, you just need good credit.
Okay.
That's it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Because it's like, let's just be honest, like, what's the one thing that they're not teaching in school? There's not none of what we talking about.
Credit for sure.
They not talking about credit at all. They ain't teaching about taxes. They ain't teaching about investment strategy. They not teaching none of that. So once you can get this figured out, you'll be good. But the foundation is the one thing that nobody is really being taught and talked about is just have a good credit score, bro. Like most people, there are people that are okay with a 400. Like they like, what does it matter?
Right.
Yeah.
That you don't even know what kind of game is being played.
The bad part about credit, bro, is that having no credit is bad credit. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you just not doing nothing is still bad.
Right.
Like you can't say I ain't doing nothing, so I'm good. No, it's still bad.
And look, hold on, watch this though. Watch this piece. Having good credit and doing nothing is even worse.
People brag about having an 850. I'm like,
what are you doing?
What are you
in
doing?
my DMs all day. Like, okay, I got 800. Now what? Leverage it.
Yeah, use it.
You need to get with me. So you just putting all this money down the drain because you don't understand the power of what you actually have.
Yeah.
And so it's a concept of if more adolescents and adults can understand how powerful credit is, and they can start to play the game of credit, and then you teach this to your children and add them on your credit as authorized user and help them start building credit, understand the importance of, like, I talk to my kids all day about credit. Like I ask them simple questions like, should you use a debit card or a credit card? They be like, credit card. Like they know the basic stuff. Like I told my daughter, I'm like, I'm gonna add you as an authorized user. I'm telling her why she's gonna get added. Because she's asking for money now. She's 15. My son too, 14. So now that they ask for money, I don't want to give you cash. I don't want to Zelle you. I want to use Cash App. I'm gonna add y'all as authorized user on my credit card. I'm gonna set a limit to that joint. You're gonna tell me what you want, when you want, how you want. I'm gonna tell you use that card. But I'm gonna teach you these principles so that way as you get older, you know how to build credit, you know how to leverage credit, you know the importance of credit. At least the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying?
What's the biggest myth about? Go ahead.
I'll say the problem is people are on the wrong side of the transaction, right?
Yep.
So it's like with credit, they hear debt, right? They don't hear leverage. They hear I go out and buy the liability, right? And by the time I'm finished paying it off, I pay back more in interest than I got it for, right? They don't understand the other side of it, right? And so you got to get on the right side of the equation. I think that's the issue, right? Because in our society, people will run up a bag on Louis V or designer or all these things, and don't realize that same tool, you can leverage it, right, to build wealth. It's like compound interest.
You can either rent out your Louis V if you. I mean, what we doing?
Yeah.
Take that belt and that outfit you just bought.
Yeah.
You get done with it. Say, hey, bro.
Yeah. You want to wear the same next video, bro? hey, rent this joint.
It's loud anyway. You're not gonna wear it, but so many times anyway. You know what I'm saying? But like people just don't understand how to get on the right side of the equation. Like with taxes, right? It's like if you're an investor, an entrepreneur, you're on the right side of the game. With investing, right? If you're an investor, you're on the right side of compound interest. With credit, if you leverage it to acquire assets, you're on the right side of it. People are just on the wrong side of the equation.
So what's one of the biggest myths in your industry that you think you just must dispel? Right?
That's good.
Like, I can start if and then get time to think. So I think the biggest myth I have to dispel is that people think by not paying taxes is a bad thing. Like the reason I start off every lesson, I ask people, are you scared of not paying taxes? Because I can give you all the game. If you psychologically believe that not paying taxes is a bad thing, then you won't run any of the plays I'm about to tell you. But like people need to understand, like, here's why the government imposed taxes is because they're going to take our money to do things they must do. They're going to take our money. They're going to use it to offer jobs to people. They're going to take our money, use it to build housing. They're going to take our money and do the things that they need to do to stimulate the economy. They don't care who does it. They just want to get it done. So if you want to use your money to help stimulate the economy, they will let you keep it. So when it comes to like being an entrepreneur, as entrepreneurs, we create jobs. So the government's like, yo, if you creating jobs, Dion, you creating jobs, George, I'm gonna you ain't gonna pay that much taxes because you're doing my job for me. Instead of me having to take your money and open up jobs, you doing that for me.
Yep.
Okay. George, you investing in real estate? Oh, cool. Okay, bet. Now that you're investing in real estate, we don't have to take your money and use it for affordable housing. You just use your money to buy real estate. So the government, you're doing the government a favor. If you do them favors, they'll let you not pay taxes because all they're gonna do is take your money and employ it the way they want to employ it. So if you beat them to the punch and do what they want you to do first, they'll let you keep your money. And once people understand that that's how you win the tax game, by like doing the government's work for them and to your own benefit, instead of letting them take your money and do it first, then that's what they want you to do. They don't care about you. They don't care if you pay zero taxes. If you help create jobs and you help stimulate the economy, you help provide the housing, they don't care. You help supply oil or whatever, they'll let you keep all your money because the job is getting done. They don't care. They don't care who does it.
So for me, it's like, it's a two-part fold. So the first myth and layer that I have to get past is that like I always ask the question, like, and I think this is what makes us good because when you have somebody who is really endowed in like what they do, they don't just like give you information. They actually ask you questions to gain understanding, to give you the knowledge based upon what you do or don't understand. So for me, I asked a question. One of the main questions said, "Well, what do you guys know about credit, or what were you taught?" And so the main thing that I get is that it's for emergencies, it's for gas, and it's stay the hell away from it. That's what it's like. Everybody that's watching this video right now, they shaking their head right now like he ain't lying. He ain't lying. It's for emergencies, or use it for gas, or stay the hell away from it. It's the three things.
The gas is an emergency.
Right. So my thing is that I gotta get you past. That's not what that is, right? That's not what that's for. Then once we get past that layer, the second piece is all right. So now I got to get the people that were already past that first layer. Now I get everybody on the same level playing field. It's two sides of the fence. Either you're going to be using credit and just creating debt, like Louis Vuitton, Gucci, partying, kicking it, hanging out, having a good time, buying that purse, or that stuff that you didn't need, or you're on the other side where you leverage it. Where you say, okay, cool, I'm gonna use this credit to go out there to accumulate assets to bring me back in income. Because most people, like 99% of people, they're just using credit and they go out there and they buy stuff that they don't need. And then when they look up when it's time to pay the bills, that's a whole nother bill. Right. Like my credit is not a bill. Like my credit, I use that to go out there and use it for my business expenses, marketing, advertising, branding. It brings me back more money. I go out there, use my credit, I acquire real estate like I just did. I just invested in a 64 unit. Then turn around 2-3 months later, invested in a 60 unit. So now I got this money coming in from real estate, but it was all because I just leveraged my credit. Now, if I would have never leveraged my credit and I was just out here using credit, I'm drowning in debt like most Americans. We just drowning in debt. When, like you said, most people are just on the wrong side of the fence.
My question is, I feel like in today's environment, a lot of times people like will act like buying a home, a single family home that you live in is just like the worst thing you could do, right? Like, what are your thoughts on like just buying a house to live in? Is that a bad idea? Should someone do house hack first? Should they like just give your thoughts on like the path to leveraging real estate as an investor, and if buying a single family home is truly a bad idea?
So again, no, I'm definitely not against that. Buying a single family home is a bad idea. I'm definitely not against that. Ownership is the name of the game. So own you some because ownership is the name of the game. All right.
Ownership stands for own you some shit. Oh, that's dope.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm the only person that just caught that? Okay, my bad.
All right. So everybody got that? So if you want to buy a house, buy a house. But if you want to house hack and you want to
what does house hack mean?
Okay. So if you want to build generational wealth through investing in real estate and leveraging low down payment options, and you're okay in living in a building with other people, because you got some people who are like, I've never grown up in an apartment. I have no idea what it's like to live with other people in the same building as I do, right? But if you're all good with that, then absolutely, let's talk about purchasing a multi-unit and what that means, and what that can look like. House hacking essentially is buying a multi-unit or a property where you live in one unit and you rent the other units out, right? The hack is that the rental income, the tenants are paying for that mortgage. At one point in time, you could live rent-free or mortgage-free, but in today's world with increased rates, you may not be living mortgage free, but you're definitely, paying into your ownership, okay? And your equity. And so if you want to purchase a multi-unit versus a single family home, let's take the example of an individual that is approved for, let's say, $400,000. And they decide that they want to go and buy a single family home. That's great. Now, let's say a year or two from now, they're like, man, you know what? I want to build generational wealth. I want to start buying other properties. Well, you're living in a home. And if you want to turn around and buy another property, an investment property, you're likely going to have to put 20% down, right? Because, you're working at a job. Maybe your income didn't increase a ton, but you were approved for $400,000 and you spent that entire $400,000 on one single family residence. Now take that same individual, approve that $400,000, and let's say they go and buy a multi-unit. They go and buy a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or a 4-unit, depending on the market that you're in. And the rental income is going towards your income to where you can get approved and purchase another property. And according to FHA, you only have to live in a property for a year and a day, and then you can move out and you can do it again. right? So you can leverage low down payment options to build generational wealth through investing in real estate. And you can house hack by having the rental income help you qualify for another unit, especially after you've lived there for a year or two. The unit that you're also living in, even though you don't have it rented out yet, there's something that's called projected income because you can show the bank that you've been a successful landlord for the past year or two. So even they will estimate what the rental income will be on your unit, that income, and they'll help you qualify for another purchase.
That deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Christ.
Can somebody say no sauce sold separately? Because I mean, shoot. You know how you go to fast food restaurant, they give you like 1-2 sauces, you try to get a third one, and that's gonna be 25 cents.
Yeah.
Like, but no, that was a gem. That was a bar.
That's real. And I think what's also in that is since you're renting out 50% of the building.
Okay, here we go. I knew it was coming.
All right.
I knew it was coming.
I would be remiss if I didn't give it. You know what I'm saying? Now that you're renting out 50% of the building, 50% of the building's expenses is now tax deductible. So now you're able to write off 50% of the mortgage interest. You're able to write 50% of the homeowner's insurance. You're able to write off 50% of the HOA fees, 50% of the property taxes. So now not only are you getting rental income, now you're cutting your tax bill almost in half because half of your property is a residential, but half of your property is a business. So like these little strategies like this, y'all, this is what like helps us get to generational wealth. There's no secret why they say the more you learn, the more you earn. If you're not earnings every single day, it's probably because you're not learning every single day. So you need to do whatever it takes so you can start learning more, so you can start earning more.
The most expensive thing in the world is the cost of not knowing. Right? Matter of fact, we're going to do a quick exercise just to validate this. How many of y'all scream pretty loud when y'all say y'all want to be millionaires, right? Can you remind me who want to be millionaires real quick? Okay. Most people got pens, papers, notes, iPhones. Okay, cool. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down $1 million at the top of your page or in your iPhone note, either one. Okay? And for those who don't know, it's 1,000,000, just in case, right? Then what I want you to do is I want you to write down how much money you made last year. Whatever that number is. You don't got to show it to nobody. You don't got to cover your paper like you in school. You know what I'm saying?
Hide your phones. People pocket watching them.
Right. Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to subtract that number from $1 million, and then, of course, you'll know what you get. And what you'll realize is that if you don't know how to make $1 million, that's what it's costing you, right? The difference between what you make and the goal income that you have, that's how much it's costing you to not know how to make it. So the reason why Carter Harper's so big on mentorship is because there are a lot of people out here who can guide you on the path of becoming a 7-figure earner or having 7 figures in net worth. And it's not costing you whatever their program is, whether it's 5K or 10K or 15K. It's costing you that number that you just subtracted from $1 million. Whether you want to believe it or not, that's the truth. And every year that you keep delaying it, life is charging you again and again with interest. So that hopefully will shift your paradigm on when you have the opportunity to invest in somebody. Now, here's the thing. Of course, do your due diligence. Make sure they are who they post to be, right? Like, do your homework, but don't be afraid to invest in yourself because it can change your life. One piece of information can literally change your life forever.
So our show is called The Melanin Money Show, obviously. And our goal is to create melanin millionaires. So one of the
Can you be more specific about the goal? Please just please.
We want to help 1,000. Was it 1,000? 100,000? 100,000?
What Soulja Boy say? 1,000? No, 100,000.
No. We want to help 100,000 people of color achieve their first $1 million in net worth, and we're leading by example. Like, you have to become a millionaire first to teach other people how to do it, right? So one thing we love to ask our guests is, what does being or becoming a melanin millionaire mean to you?
The first thing that comes to mind is that your world has to be so big that other people can see themselves in it.
That might be the best one. I ain't gonna hold you. In 104 episodes?
Yeah.
At least she started off strong. We let her finish, but she started off strong.
That's good.
She came in hot. That was good.
And that actually, I can't take 100% credit, but that came through me investing in coaching, in business coaching. I was going through a challenging time with my team. And I was like, man, going through, hire fast,
Hire fast. Hire slow. Hire slow. Hire fast.
Right.
You ain't fired a lot of people in your day.
And so the quicker you can get to that, the better off, you'll be, right? In business and understanding and knowing that, okay, this is where I see my business going. This is where I see my business growing. Again, this is who I need in place, what I need in place. And you're going to get there through leveraging systems and leveraging people. And that's one of the biggest lessons for sure that I've learned in regards to being a visionary and wanting to scale and grow and scale and grow and scale and grow. I'm the type of person, as entrepreneurs, like we still have ideas at all the time, right? Like, man, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to, right. But you'll definitely be able to get there through people for sure. Did I answer your question?
That was great. That was great. If any of thing we shared today was helpful, can y'all give us a round of applause like it was, please? Thank you. Hey.